Marcos traveled by bus to Mexico. It was a long journey, and he met many people with the same dream. They shared their fears and hopes, making the difficult trip a little easier. The final part of the journey was the most dangerous, crossing the desert. The desert was hot and unforgiving. The group walked for days, struggling with thirst and exhaustion. Some people gave up, but Marcos kept moving forward. He thought about his family and his future. The journey through Mexico was not easy. Marcos had to avoid authorities, find safe places to sleep, and trust people he barely knew. Some travelers were robbed, but Marcos stayed alert. He joined a group led by an experienced guide, known as a coyote. The man demanded a large fee, but he promised to get them across the border. At night, they walked quietly through the desert, hiding during the day. They ran out of water, and some people struggled to continue. Marcos helped a young woman who had fallen behind, sharing his last bit of food with her. The group faced many dangers: police patrols, armed gangs, and the deadly heat of the sun. The night was dark, and the group moved carefully. The coyote led them through a rough trail near the Rio Grande, warning them to stay silent. They had to wade through deep water, their clothes soaked and heavy. Some people struggled, and Marcos helped pull a man to safety. As they moved further, they saw flashlights in the distance, border patrol officers scanning the area. The group froze. The coyote whispered for them to stay low and wait. Marcos's heart pounded as the officers came closer, their dogs barking. One woman started crying, but someone covered her mouth just in time. The group stayed hidden until the patrol moved on. Further ahead, they had to crawl under a barbed wire fence. The sharp metal tore at their clothes and skin. Marcos clenched his teeth as he felt a sting on his arm, but pushed forward. Just as they thought they were safe, headlights appeared. A pickup truck full of armed men blocked the path, cartel members. The coyote stepped forward, negotiating in hushed tones. Marcos could barely breathe. The men eyed the group, deciding who might be worth taking for ransom. Finally, after a tense standoff, the coyote paid them off, and they were allowed tow pass. Marcos knew how close they had been to being kidnapped or worse. As they reached the final stretch, they had to sprint across a vast open field. There was no cover, just darkness and the sound of their footsteps. Suddenly, a helicopter appeared, its spotlight cutting through the night. "Run!" the coyote yelled. Marcos ran as fast as he could, his legs burning. He saw people diving into the shadows, some being caught by patrol officers. He didn't look back. He reached a hidden passage where a van was waiting. The driver shouted at them to get in. As soon as Marcos jumped inside, the doors slammed shut, and they sped away. He had made it across, but he was exhausted, injured, and scared. Thaven took them to a safe house, where he could finally breathe. He was in the USA, but his journey was far from over. Now, he had to survive and build the life he had dreamed of.